What's up you guys, welcome to another Python tutorial, and in this tutorial I'm going to talk to you about recursion. So what the heck is recursion? In simple terms, recursion basically is calling a function within a function. So if you have a function that calls itself, that's a recursive function right here. You're saying, okay Mo, that's pretty cool. Like, why would I have to write a recursive function if I can get the result with writing a normal function that doesn't call itself? Well, there are two reasons why would you write recursive functions. There's actually two reasons that I can think of. The first reason is recursion or a recursive function requires less code. From my experience, it's just I've realized that every time you create a recursive function, you end up writing less code. The second reason is sometimes when you write recursive functions, it computes the result faster than a normal function that doesn't call itself. You know what I mean? It's faster and it requires less code, and it's actually pretty dope and you should learn it. Alright, so let's get started. So we're going to compute the 3 factorial. We're going to get the result of 3 factorial, and I'm actually going to walk you through it step by step. I'm going to debug it, and you'll just, by the end of this tutorial, you should know what recursion is and how it works. So let's create our function real quick. Let's call it fact. That stands for factorial. And our base case is x equal 1. I'm going to teach you what a base case is in 1 second. Else return x multiplied by fact of x minus 1. So what we have so far is basically a recursive function. How do we know, as soon as we look at this code right here, how do we know that this is a recursive function? Oh, we're calling the function right here within our function, and that tells us that this function right here is a recursive function. Okay, so what the heck is this and what the heck is this? I don't really understand what you're doing, Mom. So let me just call the function and make sure that I don't have any errors so I don't have to embarrass myself. And okay, so let's run that real quick. It's 6, okay, as expected. So the 3 factorial is 6. So let's ignore this code real quick and let's go right here. So I found this picture online. I just googled it. I said recursion 3 factorial, and this is what I got. And this is exactly what is happening. So guys, as you know, to get the result of 3 factorial, it requires you to know what is the result of 2 factorial, and to get 2 factorial, it requires you to get the result of 1 factorial. So what is happening is basically this in a recursive function. If you input 3 factorial, it will get the result of 2 factorial, and then it will get the result of 1 factorial, and then it will return back. So first it was going to go down, get this result, down, get this result, return this result, and then it's going to go up to this to 2 factorials, and then it's going to go up to 3 factorial, and it's going to output the result. So how in the world will this happen? So let's debug our program real quick. And if you guys are not familiar with debugging, it's like running the program, but you can just do it step by step. So as you guys can see, I just have this line highlighted right here, and I'm just debugging it. So I'm going to step into the function. Now, as you guys can see, PyCharm automatically created, as you guys see here, it said x equals to 3 because this is what we inputted. So we passed it in the function. And it said if x equals 1, return 1. Oh, too bad, x does not equal 1. So what is happening? Guys, a recursive function cannot exist without a base case. So why the heck would we need a base case? I'm gonna show it to you right now. What a base case is why a base case is necessary is because of this. Once we input something in a recursive function, it goes all the way to the base case and then it goes all the way back again, and then it gives you the result. So for a recursive function to work, it must run this line of code right here. So I inputted a 3, and then it wasn't the base case. So it's going to take 1 out, and let me just continue stepping through. So now, as you guys can see, before it was 3, this is what we originally inputted, and now it's 2. What happened is this. It said, okay, x, which is 2, minus 1, the result now is 2. So before it was 3, now it's 2. But as you guys can see, people trip. You know why people trip? Is because they think that as soon as you input something, you automatically multiply this. But you don't. This will be evaluated once you're done with your base case. Once you return this, then this will be evaluated. Before that, this will not be evaluated. Like before, you just like ignore this. Until you get to the base case, then you can evaluate this. Because Python, this is what I just said, Python. What Python is saying is basically this. It's saying, I don't know what is this, so I'm gonna go and get it, and then I can multiply with x. All right. So now we're gonna step into the function. Now it's saying, okay, x does not equal 1, so I'm gonna take 1 out. So now it took 1 out again, and now x is equal 1. So now look what happens. Boom, it returns 1. This is the factorial of 1. 1 factorial is 1, as you guys can see. Now, this is the fantastic thing that happens and most people get it confused. What we did is basically this. We were at the top. We took 1 out, as you guys can see. We took another 1 out, as you guys can see. And now we were at the base case, and a second ago we returned 1, right? So once we returned 1, we're going back again. So factorial 1, here it's called factorial. We have it here as fact. So factorial 1 is 1. So now this is 1. And x is 2, because 2 is the number that was before 1. So now we are multiplying 1 with 2, as you guys can see. 1 with 2, because of what happened. So the result of multiplying 1 with 2 is 2. So let me step in. It was 2. So as you guys can see, factorial now it's 2. So we just multiplied 1 with 2, and the return result is 2. This returned 2. Now factorial, not factorial, we called it fact. This is now 2. 2 is multiplied by 3, because now we're going upwards. Guys, let me just tell you what is happening. Before we were at 1. This was our base case. Now 1 substituted with this function call right here. So now we multiplied 1 with 2. And now the result of this now is here. So now we are multiplying 2 with 3. Because you guys remember when in the beginning of the tutorial I said we go up, down, 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 and then we go up again. So now we're multiplying 2 with 3. So now this is 2 multiplied with 3. How do we know that x is 3? Is right here. Okay, so we're going to step in. 2 multiplied with 3 is 6, and boom, this is the result, as you guys can see right here. All right, that was pretty cool. So I hope you guys got an idea of what recursion is. Remember guys, recursion is calling a function within a function. Recursion requires a base case. You call the function and you pass it in a number or a string or an integer or whatever. and then you make sure that you're getting close. Each time this function is called, you're getting closer to the base case, closer to the base case, closer to the base case, closer to the base case. And then as much or as how many times you called this function right here, as much as you're going to come back. And then each time you come back, you're gonna do the necessary things to compute your result, depending on what you're trying to do. So guys, if you guys didn't get this, just type this code in your IDE or something and debug it as I showed you in like a couple seconds ago, and play with it, and you'll get your head around it pretty quick. Guys, I challenge you, since you got an idea of what recursion is, to create a recursive function that will take the string hello and will output it like this. So this is what you're going, this is what you're going to input in your function, and this is what you're going to output. If you were able to create a recursive function that will input this and will output this, that would be pretty damn impressive. Alright, so thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.